We are live.
Yay! It is Friday. We actually got 3 videos done in 1 week. Knock on wood. I am old new dude. He is,
Richard York, Asher's trueborn son.
and this is Arya 4. Woo. It's not a big chapter. Last chapter I got like a page and a half out of less material, and this time I didn't get hardly anything. I don't know if it's just
All
because
right.
I'm tired this morning, or if the medication that opens my third eye is just a little bit heavy today and has shut that third eye. Uh, I would rather have a shut third eye and not cough nonstop. So I'm taking what I can get. But
Sounds good.
if you've watched any of these videos, and shout out to Lady Thistle, Lizzie, James Martin, all y'all, Swagger Dagger,
Yep.
the Valoncar, we
Valoncar.
appreciate.
Yep.
Yep, Valoncar, we appreciate it. We start with the brains of the operation, which is Richard. He will say what he saw in the chapter, and then I'll just jump in with my stupid stuff every now and then. Hopefully, I have something funny to say today. I don't know yet though. But take
Well,
it away,
thank you,
Richard.
sir.
Hmm?
This is the climactic conclusion to the Empty Villages chapters. Um, the river was a blue-green ribbon shining in the morning sun. Reeds grew thick in the shallows along the banks. The raven says, "Bite your tongue." Uh, Reeds grew thick in the shallows along the banks, and Arya saw a water snake skimming across the surface, ripples spreading out behind it as it went. Overhead, a hawk flew in lazy circles. So maybe the hawk represents the old gods, while the snake could represent dragons, or maybe sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I took it as I would think that the hawk would be hunting the water snake. So for it to be lazily flying in circles up there is
Hmm.
probably just checking things out with what's going on with Arya in my
Yeah, I
mind.
mean, it is a bird of prey, so that makes sense to think of it
Yeah.
as
Well,
checking on
that's the
them.
only reason I would think that he put the snake in there is to let you know, hey, this hawk's not acting like a hawk. It's not hunting right now. It is watching Arya.
Yeah. Okay. It seemed a peaceful place until Ka spotted the dead man. There in the reeds, he pointed, and Arya saw it. The body of a soldier, shapeless and swollen. His sodden green cloak had hung up on a rotted log. A school of tiny silver fishes were nibbling at his face. So it kind of reminds me of the literal faceless man we discussed in Theon's chapter from the
Yeah.
cat's fifth storm chapter. You know how Pike's built on a headland and part on rocks and islands off the shore with bridges between? The way I heard it in Lordsport, there was a blow coming in from the west, rain and thunder, and old King Balon was crossing one of them bridges when the wind got hold of it and just tore the thing to pieces. He washed up 2 days later, all bloated and broken. Crabs ate his eyes, I hear. So anyway, I told
Yeah.
you there were bodies, Lamy announced. I could taste them in that water. The concept of germs and death in the water happens a lot, as does people falling down a well. Some speculate Cunnington will fall or be thrown down a well, adding more pestilence to the war, death, and famine we are seeing in Westeros. Thus far, pestilence has mostly been in Essos.
Yeah. I don't really understand the point of throwing someone down the Winterfell well. You're contaminating
Yeah,
your own damn water. So I mean,
right. Yeah, it's really weird. And they do boil water in this series, so it does seem like they have some concept that water is less likely to get you sick if you boil it. Whether they have true germ knowledge is questionable at this point, but they do seem to have some. And that was sort of common for people to realize that some things were healthier, even if they didn't understand why, right? Back
yeah.
in the day.
Well, I mean, the number of maesters that are out and about in Westeros, plus the ones that are at the Citadel, you would expect them to have slightly higher knowledge than what medieval times, which this was based on, had. So I mean, for it to be a common practice
Right.
that was probably brought on.
You're kind of stuttering a little.
Yeah, my
The connection's a little iffy. Are you still here? Is it you or is it me? I think I lost you. Huh. Huh. Well, I tried. Oh, I have to come back out, back in again. Am I here? Can you hear me, Lizzie? Waiting, waiting. Sorry for the dead air. Yeah, sorry about the dead air. All right, well. I tried popping back out and back in just in case it was me, but I don't think it is. Oh, good. Oh, good. Sorry for the dead air here. Well, I could continue, I suppose. He said he's coming, so I thought we'd wait. But I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't have any cool music to cue up or anything. Keep on going, he says. All right, well. I don't remember exactly where he was in his sentence, but we were talking about how the Maesters seem to have some knowledge, and maybe perhaps this hints at this being a post-apocalyptic future or something as well. The fact that there's some memories that, or some practices that continue. Anyway, Bobber found a leather purse in the dead man's belt. Inside were 4 coppers and a little hank of blonde hair tied up with a red ribbon. So that could be foreshadowing for the half-maester's parents from the prologue of Feast. Inside, Pate had found a bag of silver stags, a lock of yellow hair tied up in a ribbon, a painted miniature of a woman who resembled Walgrave, even to her mustache, and a knight's gauntlet made of lobstered steel. The gauntlet had belonged to a prince, Walgrave claimed, but he could no longer seem to recall which one. When Pate shook it, the key fell out onto the floor. Kurz caught a fish with his bare hands. Arya saw how he did it, standing over a shallow pool, calm as still water, his hand darting out quick as a snake when the fish swam near. It didn't look as hard as catching cats. Fish didn't have claws. Fish have fins, which can be every bit as sharp, so be careful if you try that. It was midday when the others returned. So George loves reminding us that the others are still out there, and so he throws in this others language, especially when we're seeing things like, this is intended to be spooky and to be corresponding with, Gior and John and also with Danny, right? We can buy new mounts there, or else take shelter at Harrenhal. That's Lady Wentseat. She's always been a friend of the watch. Hot Pie's eyes got wide. There's ghosts in Harrenhal, Yorn spat. There's for your ghosts. Hey, he's back. Do you think Arya could catch a fish, could watch a fish to catch it? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think he's fast enough to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I do think she may be surprised at how much Finn's hurt, but.
Sorry about the video today, guys. My phone is, like I was telling him, it kicked me out like 3 times before I even tried to start this thing today.
Yeah, he was reluctant to. Oh, warg, could she? Could she warg a fish to catch it? Well, that's an interesting concept. I mean,
well, she is Port Tully.
Yeah, and she's not only, well, yeah, that's a good point, and she wants that to be part of her own personal sigil, but she's already shown that she can do cats in addition to the Nymeria, so yeah, I would say so.
Maybe not at this time in her emergence of power, but definitely later on, without a doubt, she could definitely. Yeah, I mean, just like Barrymere Sixskins wards women to bring them to his hut to ward prey to bring him into where the wolves can attack him, or he kill him himself so he has food. I have no doubt Arya could do that.
So I just did the Yoren spat. There's for your ghost, and I do like this comment that I came up with, right, which was kind of tying the three chapters together. So Yoren, Danny, and Gior are all leading people frightened of ghosts, and Yoren and Danny are having none of it. Gior's people are more appropriately cautious because Gior and John and all of those Night's Watchmen are well aware that the dead can walk and so forth. Um, yeah, Danny and Yoren are like having none of this fear of ghost stuff.
I'm watching the video play out, and you're moving fine and everything, and it can be heard. And
Okay.
I'm just sitting there. So today is a Richard video. I'm just gonna sit here.
Oh no, you're coming through fine. You can.
Okay. Now there we go.
Chime in when you want to.
Okay.
Arya was remembering the stories old Nan used to tell of Harrenhal. Evil King Harren had walled himself up inside, so Aegon unleashed his dragons and turned the castle into a pyre. Nan said that fiery spirits still haunted the blackened towers. Sometimes men went to sleep, safe in their beds, and were found dead in the morning, all burnt up. Arya didn't really believe that, and anyhow, it had all happened a long time ago. Hot Pie was being silly. It wouldn't be ghosts in Harrenhal, it would be knights. Arya could reveal herself to Lady Went, and the knights would escort her home and keep her safe. That was what knights did. They kept you safe, especially women. Maybe Lady Went would even help the crying girl. So when society's norms and customs fail, things get bad. I can think of some real world relevance, but let's not.
Well, I mean, also you're looking at as savvy as Arya is with the comings and goings of what really happens. She reverts back to that little girl about knights being knights. I mean, just
she has some skepticism of Yoren in this chapter, but she still has her own expectations of society norms and following those, right?
Yeah.
Arya found herself with Gendry, Hot Pie, and Lami. So that almost sounds like intervention, and this search is very much like John and Ed searching White Tree, right?
Yeah.
As they rode between the silent white houses, goose prickles crawled up Arya's arms. This empty town frightened her almost as much as the burnt holdfast where they'd found the crying girl and the one-armed woman. Why would people run off and leave their homes and everything? What could scare them so much? The sun was low to the west, and the houses cast long, dark shadows. A sudden clap of sound made Arya reach for Needle, but it was only a shutter banging in the wind. After the open river shore, the closeness of the town unnerved her. So Arya and Yoren are appropriately cautious, and a clap of sound is almost the definition of thunder, so I kind of feel like this is almost thunder imagery.
Yeah.
When she glimpsed the lake ahead between houses and trees, Arya put her knees into her horse, galloping past Loth and Gendry. So it's a nice reminder of Arya's skill with horses.
But she threw kind of caution to the wind there after being so cautious.
It was kind of weird, to be honest, when she said that. I was like, that's strange, but okay.
Well, I'm assuming it was just the excitement or the finally we're at the God's Eye type situation where she threw caution to the wind.
And maybe she associates the lake with safety compared to these villages.
Yeah.
They took the boats. Somehow Arya knew it was true. They could search the whole town and they'd find no more than the upside-down rowboat. So somehow Arya knew. Call it divine inspiration, intervention, or hidden fingers?
Yeah, I like the hidden fingers part.
Arya could not keep quiet. We shouldn't stay here, she blurted. The people didn't. They all ran off, even their lord. Arya's scared, Lami announced, braying laughter. I'm not, she snapped back, but they were. Smart boy, said Yoren. Thing is, the folks who lived here were at war, like it or no. We're not. Night's Watch takes no part, so no man's our enemy. And no man's our friend, she thought, but this time she held her tongue. Lami and the rest were looking at her, and she did not want to seem craven in front of them. Nice try, future Bran, but Yoren is too set in his ways.
Yep. Well, I mean, stop thinking about that for a second. If future Bran is trying to stop them staying in that tower, then that would stop Jack and Agar from being released. And then the debt owed to Arya. that tower is the main catalyst or whatever you want to call it for Arya going to the House of Black and White. She saves Jaqen H'ghar.
Huh.
She owes Jaqen H'ghar 3 names. Jaqen H'ghar gives her the coin. She goes to the House of Black and White.
And we've talked about the fact that there might be 2 players, right? And so maybe
right.
one of them's trying and one of them's preventing things from succeeding and so forth, right?
Yeah. Somebody did not want Arya, whether it's Future Brand or whatever, to take the Black and Whites. They wanted a different path for her.
Or it's one of these. There's also the potential. There's like chess moves that are being done and undone as well. If it's more about one player and variations and trying things, it could also be that, right? But no, it turns out we have to make this happen. Garen discovered a trap under the straw in the old wooden barn, leading to a narrow, winding tunnel. He followed it a long way into the earth and came out by the lake. Bjorn had them roll a wagon on top of the trap to make certain no one came in that way. A secret tunnel like in Winterfell from Bran's second chapter. Bran could perch for hours among the shapeless, rain-worn gargoyles that brooded over the first keep, watching it all. The men drilling with wood and steel in the yard, the cooks tending their vegetables in the glass garden, restless dogs running back and forth in the kennels, the silence of Godswood, the girls gossiping beside the wishing well. It made him feel like he was lord of the castle in a way even Robb would never know. It taught him Winterfell's secrets, too. The builders had not even leveled the earth. There were hills and valleys behind the walls of Winterfell. There was a covered bridge that went from the 4th floor of the bell tower across to the 2nd floor of the rookery. Bran knew about that. And he knew you could get inside the inner wall by the south gate, climb 3 floors, and run all the way around Winterfell through a narrow tunnel in the stone, then come out on ground level at the north gate with 100 feet of wall looming over you. Even Maester Luwin didn't know that. Bran was convinced. So anyway, I always like to point out that there's this little secret tunnel in Winterfell.
Yeah.
Ciro Farrell had said that a dull blade was like a lame horse. Hot Pie squatted on the pallet beside her, watching her work. Where'd you get a good sword like that? He asked. When he saw the look she gave him, he raised his hands defensively. I never said you stole it. I just wanted to know where you got it, is all. My brother gave it to me. I'm here. Uh-oh. It's not a good sign that you're having to ask that question.
You gotta get him.
I can hear you say that.
I'm about to take a hammer to this thing, man. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can see you too.
Hey.
All right.
I switched the internet. I don't know if that helped anything.
All right. Yeah, it seems like it did.
Okay.
Where were we? I never knew you had no brother. Arya paused to scratch under her shirt. There were fleas in the straw, though she couldn't see why a few more would bother her. I have lots of brothers. You do? Are they bigger than you or littler? I shouldn't be talking like this. Jorn said I should keep my mouth shut. Bigger, she lied. They have swords, too. Big, long swords, and they showed me how to kill people who bother me. I was talking, not bothering. I'm not sure why she considers this a lie. 2 out of 4 brothers are bigger, so maybe it's half a lie.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Hammers don't work. If you want to smash the arm of Dorn maybe, but otherwise.
Give me Robert's Warhammer, and I'll get somebody else to lift it because I ain't gonna be able to.
I had a tweet about that recently, and the only person who saw it was the person I tagged. It seems like so.
About the Warhammer?
No, there's a. So I'm way back on LML streams because he's doing like two like 4-hour streams a week or whatever. But he did or 3.5 hour. He did the Kingsmoot. And somebody asked in the comments in that, why are all the hammer people referred to as just? And people are like, oh, that's the the hammer of the routers. Anyway, one of the things that he's like, I don't know, and people are saying that you bring the hammer down to when you're for justice, and that hammers are often justice. But my comment, my tweet was that you actually the hammer is associated with the hammer of the waters, and that breaks the arm of Dorne, and broken arms are Tyr symbolism, and Tyr is the god of justice, right? So it makes sense that the hammer figures are all justice because they're all tied to the arm. And there were a couple other things. He he mentioned that Asha brings the suckling babe joke over and over again, but the whole point of her suckling babe is she's acting like Catelyn as the mother figure urging peace in that scene. So she's supposed to represent the mother, right? The mother's supposed to be teaching you the kinder way and preventing war, basically, right? That's what she's doing. And then finally, he mentioned that it closes with the sound of the hinge, right? And the reason that Euron is associated with the sound of the hinge is the hinge of the world is the wall, right? And so Euron's supposed to be foreshadowing Euron opening the wall, right?
Well, could he be not to get off topic from Arya, but could Euron actually be trying to create another hinge with that much magic in one area?
Yeah, maybe, but I think it's really supposed to be foreshadowing the idea that he's going to open the wall. That's how I viewed it.
I got the problem.
Another thing he mentioned is that if you look at the let's go through the chapter, then we can talk about.
Yeah.
All right, we'll have some more to say at the end.
We've switched places on the camera, and you're acting like me by going off on a rant.
Started going way off on the.
There you
go. She must have. Well, we started talking about the hammer of the routers, so that's got me.
Yeah, I started it. You kept going.
Yeah, I went way down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, I'm not sure why it's only half a lie, right? Half her brother's bigger.
Yeah.
She must have slept, though she never remembered closing her eyes. She dreamed a wolf was howling, and the sound was so terrible that it woke her at once. Arya sat up on her pallet with her heart thumping. Hot Pie, wake up! She scrambled to her feet. What, Gendry? Didn't you hear? She pulled on a boot. All around her, men and boys stirred and crawled from their pallets. What's wrong? Hot Pie asked. Hear what? Gendry wanted to know. Arya had a bad dream, someone else said. No, I heard it, she insisted. A wolf. Arya has wolves in his head, sneered Lonnie. Let them howl, Garen said. They're out there, we're in here. Loth agreed. Never saw no wolf. Could storm a holdfast, Hot Pie was saying. I never heard nothing. It was a wolf, she shouted at them as she yanked up on her second boot. Something's wrong. Someone's coming. Get up! Before they could hoot her down again, the sound came shuddering through the night. Only it was no wolf this time. It was Kurtz blowing his hunting horn, sounding danger. Pretty much the only time I black out is when I'm getting ready for bed. So, but I do think that the implication is that maybe she wasn't even dreaming, right? That she was still awake.
Yeah. Well,
Arya has wolves in his head is by far my favorite part of that quote.
I that put a smile on my face. I just think it is either verification of the intelligence of the wolves or the intelligence of what's behind the wolves that they actually warn Arya. I mean, we see it over and over again, and it's I can't make up my mind if it's the wolves or the force behind the wolves that is causing that humanistic type behavior, protective behavior that Nymeria is doing.
Yeah, I could certainly see what you mean there. Anyway, yes, it's definitely interesting because it's one of our strongest clues at this point that that she's still bonding with Nymeria and so forth, right?
Right.
As she dashed past the barn, Biter threw himself furiously against his chains, and Jack and Hagar called out from the back of their wagon, "Boy, sweet boy, is it war? Red war? Boy, free us! A man can fight, boy." So this might help to establish Arya's confidence in these chains, but now that I think about it, she was actually taunting him earlier when she didn't know that they would hold through this.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Well, they made a noise the when she was taunting them. I mean, given enough time, I think he could probably break out.
Yeah, maybe.
Because he seems to be quite strong.
One carried a banner on a tall lance. She thought it was red, but it's hard to tell in the night. With the fires roaring all around, everything seemed red or black or orange or Lannister crimson. I'm in Kansas and it's March, and I'm an alumnus, and the Jayhawks won yesterday, so the crimson and blue get a shout
out. Everything seemed red or black or orange. The beginning of that, the red or black, I mean, that could be a hint toward a red or black dragon, as far as Targaryen or Blackfire.
All right. The fire leapt from one house to another. Arya saw a tree consumed, the flames creeping across its branches until it stood against the night in robes of living orange. Burning a tree in a world where trees represent the old gods. It sounds a bit like the burning of the Asherim and the erasure of the marriage of Asherah. See, triplet Targaryen, that's little one.
Now there was a section I did not hear you talking. So was that the first reference?
I think it was.
Okay.
I don't know. Lizzie can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Something bumped against her leg, and she glanced down to discover the crying girl clutching her. Get away! She wrenched her leg free. What are you doing up here? Run and hide someplace, you stupid! She shoved the girl away. So the crying little girl sort of represents Arya's disdain for her feminine side. At least that's what I learned from Reddit. I actually think that's a pretty good interpretation.
Well, would the little crying girl be the little girl that Arya was there at the beginning of this? The representation.
And some people actually question whether she even exists. I think she really exists. I mean, I do think she represents Arya.
Yeah. But when the little girl's gone, is that a representation? Like later on, and when the mountain captures them and everything, and the little girl's gone, is that a representation of, all right, there's no more little girl left in Arya type situation?
Maybe, but it feels like almost the opposite. Like she is, like she's become at that point she talks about being a mouse and so forth, right? And so anyway,
yeah,
it's almost like, and she even named herself Weasel. And I think that's part of why people consider.
I didn't think about that.
And maybe that's part of why people consider her to be. That's where the theory that she's actually the crying little girl came from. Maybe, I don't know. You and the holdfast, shouted a knight in a tall helm with a spiked crest. Open in the name of the king. Aye, and which king is that? Old Rexon yelled back down before Watt cuffed him into silence. I think Rexon has a point, but
yeah, but stop and think about this. Arya said there's between 100 to 200 people out there. They're all throwing torches and everything. And then you got this wise ass up there.
It's all the king.
Some of the best comedians are those that are attached to the Night's Watch, without a doubt.
Oh, yeah. He hoisted up the staff so they could all see the color of his cloak. Have a look. That's black for the Night's Watch. Or black for House Thunderian, called the man who bore the enemy banner. Arya could see its colors more clearly now in the light of the burning town. A golden lion on red. Lord Beric's sigil was the purple lightning bolt on a black field. Suddenly, Arya remembered the morning she had thrown the orange in Sansa's face and gotten juice all over her stupid ivory silk gown. There had been some southern lordling at the tourney. Her sister's stupid friend, Jane, was in love with him. He had a lightning bolt on his shield, and her father had sent him out to behead the Hound's brother. It seemed 1,000 years ago now, something that had happened to a different person in a different life. To Arya Stark, the Hand's daughter, not Arya the orphan boy. How would Arya know lords and such? Are you blind, man? Yoren waved his staff back and forth, making the cloak ripple. You see a bloody lightning bolt? By night, all banners look black.
I guess another.
Preston recently had the Golden Company and the Baratheon banner similarly conflated in his fanfic version of The Wind's Winter.
I just read the other day that George R. R. Martin really hates fan fiction. That is that's stealing, or as far as he was concerned.
No, he also writes it, so
Yeah.
Have you read his Jaime and Tyrion stuff?
No.
Maybe I'll send you a link. He's got. I mean, it's actually not that good, but
yeah.
But
I watched.
Anyway,
there was one video that was made that was of who was it? On the way to
George. I'm not talking about Preston. I'm talking about George.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't read any fan fiction.
George has written. He wrote this. There was this contest about like who would beat whom kind of thing, and so he wrote his version of like Jaime fighting at his prime against various fictional characters.
Send me a link to that one. I actually want to read that one. But yeah, I've never read any fan fiction. I watched a fan made video of Brandon Stark on his way to River Run, and there was a guy hanging that was a rapist, and he ended up killing them. And then I watched the same people made Brandon versus Peter video, which that wouldn't be too much fan fiction because we get a lot of it in the book. But yeah, I've never read
her own Hammer of the Routers problems here.
What's that?
So Lizzie's having her own hammer or the router's problems here. Like she
Man,
got
it's
kicked off.
Friday. I have no idea what's going on with technology today. The little aliens flying around in them little orbs just messing with us. All right, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, we'll continue. The reflections of burning houses glimmered dully on the armor of his warhorse as the others parted to let him pass. George loves his others' reminders, and they do destroy like the others.
Yes.
Leave us be, we're no foes to you. Look with your eyes, Arya wanted to shout out at the men below. Can't they see we're no lords or knights, she whispered. I don't think they care, Ari, Gendry whispered back. And she looked at Sir Amory's face, the way Syrio had taught her to look. And she saw that he was right. I blame George.
I blame George too.
Gendry is often more perceptive than those around him. I command you once more, in King Joffrey's name, to prove the loyalty you profess and open these gates, said Sir Amory. For a long moment, Yorn considered, chewing. Then he spat. Don't think I will. So be it. You defy the king's command, and so proclaim yourselves rebels, black cloaks or no. Got me young boys in here, Yorn shouted down. Young boys and old men died the same, Sir Amory raised a languid fist, and a spear came hurling from their fire-bright shadows behind. Yorn must have been the target, but it was walked beside him as it was hit. The spearhead went in his throat and exploded out the back of his neck, dark and wet. Wath grabbed at the shaft and fell boneless from the walk. Storm the walls and kill them all, Sir Amory said in a bored voice. More spears flew. Arya yanked down Hot Pie by the back of his tunic. Amory Lorch is bored, and Arya is protecting Hot Pie.
See, this, I know they did it for a reason. I know George had to have it, but I don't understand he is going to lose more men's hands than what they'll kill on the inside. The people climbing the wall and all that stuff and just chopping off fingers and all. But I mean, I understand why George did it because he had to have a reason for Arya and then get away. But it never made any sense to me.
Yeah, Amory doesn't make much sense. That's true. But
No.
I mean,
you think if they opened up, would he met with Euron and go, okay, yeah, you're the Night's Watch, have a nice day, or would he just kill them?
No, I don't know. Probably would kill him.
All right.
Certainly, he's known for killing
kids.
He's
not a nice one.
Yeah. Fear cuts deeper than swords, she remembered. She doesn't remember much of what Syrio taught her. I'm just going to do a few little quotes and skip and quote and skip and quote. So
that's fine.
Anyway, Winterfell, she screamed. For each one Arya cut or stabbed or shoved back, another was coming over the wall. She saw a gold line on a red banner and thought of Joffrey, wishing he was here so she could drive needle through his sneery face. Mm-hmm. Arya jumped over a dead boy, no older than Jon, lying with his arm cut off. She didn't think she'd done it, but she wasn't sure. He was bold and scared-looking, with missing teeth and a speckly gray beard, but even if she was feeling sorry for him, she was killing him, shouting, Winterfell! Winterfell! While Hot Pie screamed, Hot Pie!
I'm not going to lie, that's my favorite sentence in the whole chapter. Even as she's feeling sorry for him, she's killing him. Sorry, go ahead.
She jumped down beside Gendry, leaning the way Syrio taught her. She really did learn a lot from Syrio. Death was all around her. You're probably not supposed to be familiar with the stranger, but Arya has never conformed to expectations. Mm-hmm. And then Yoren was there, shaking her, screaming in her face. Boy, he yelled, the way he always yelled it. Get out, it's done, we've lost. Hurry up all you can, you and him and the others. The boys, you get them out, now. How, Arya said. That trap, he screamed, under the barn. Quick as that, he was gone, off to fight, sword in hand. Arya grabbed Gendry by the arm. He said go, she shouted. The barn, the way out. Through the slits of his helm, the bull's eyes shone with reflected fire. He nodded. They called Hot Pie down from the wall and found Lamy Greenhands where he lay bleeding from a spear thrust through his calf. Sadly, this injury will be the end for Lamy, eventually.
Gendry's kind of a badass.
Oh, yeah.
He jumps off the walkway, he's fighting hand to hand, and he's got no training, and he's still alive. So, mm-hmm. That's the Baratheon coming through.
And training as a smith does strengthen you.
Yeah. He's without a doubt strong. But it's
he's done a lot of manual labor.
Yeah.
Stubbornly, Arya dragged all the harder, pulling the crying girl along. Hot Pie scuttled back inside, abandoning them. But Gendry came back, the fire shining so bright on his polished helmet, the horns seemed to glow orange. He ran to them and hoisted the crying girl up over his shoulder. Run! Yes, we do love Gendry, and Arya for that matter.
Yeah.
When you split the firewood, Arya remembered, where did you leave the axe? Out by the haven. He spared a glance for the chained man. I'd save the donkeys first. There's no time. You take her, she yelled. You get her out. You do it. There was no sign of Yoren, but the axe was where Gendry had left it, by the woodpile outside the haven. Smoke was pouring out the open door like a writhing black snake. So it's kind of like the vision of Summer Has at Winterfell.
Yeah.
She threw the axe into the wagon. Warsh caught it and lifted it over his head, rivers of sooty sweat pouring down his noseless face. Arya was running, coughing. She heard the steel crash through the old wood, and again. An instant later came a crack as loud as thunder, and the bottom of the wagon came ripping loose in an explosion of splinters. Arya rolled headfirst into the tunnel and dropped 5 feet. She got dirt in her mouth, but she didn't care. The taste was fine. The taste was mud and water and worms and life. Under the earth, the air was cool and dark. Above was nothing but blood and roaring red and choking smoke and the screams of dying horses. She moved her belt around so Nita would not be in her way and began to crawl. A dozen feet down the tunnel, she heard the sound, like the roar of some monstrous beast, and a cloud of hot smoke and black dust came billowing up behind her, smelling of hell. Arya held her breath and kissed the mud on the floor of the tunnel and cried, for whom she could not say. So the crack as loud as thunder reminds me of Dany hatching the dragons, and
Yeah.
Arya sort of released her genie. She gets 3 wishes.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out. Okay. For some reason, I always thought that the 3 men went through the tunnel until the reread here that I remembered. No, that didn't happen because the tunnel collapses with fire in the back of the mouth.
Right. Somehow they wind up being accepted by the
armory law. Yeah, we're prisoners. We'll join you. Blah blah blah. I'm assuming it's Jock and the Guard running his silver tongue, trying to get on the good side of, or either that or they just
right. And perhaps somebody higher up is informed or is either connected to Varys or the Faceless Men or I guess to say Dorcas.
Somebody could. Somebody playing the game could have the same person that wanted Arya to go,
or maybe just somebody pulling strings.
Yeah. Well, if somebody wanted Arya to go in there and all this happened and start the path for the House of Black and White,
right.
Jock and the Guard and them have to escape. So the same person that put Arya there would also get Jock and the Guard out. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, but it does feel like he's somehow connected, right? That he has political connections that allow him to suddenly, because they're not just like soldiers. He seems to be almost some sort of commander in there. An officer.
He's way too intelligent. He doesn't fit in with the other 2, that's for sure. He doesn't fit in Armory Lock's bunch. He's almost lordly in his presence that he exudes. But
up next, we're going to see Tyrion associate blue flowers and honey hair.
That is a very good.
And in that chapter, he will his most trusted advisor, who he's warned not to trust, will show him a secret ladder to get to his lover via a brothel after a council meeting. For some reason, that sounds familiar.
Yes, it does.
I did want to say, so another thing that I found interesting on some of the LMO content was, let's go over here. So one of the things he said was in the chapter in Dance, it's going to be, John 3? Yeah, John 3. Open the gates, bellowed Sir Clayton Suggs in a voice as deep as a war horn. Open the gates. So anyway, that's so. And then the other time that we see the wildlings allowed through the wall, you get, which is John 12. Open the gate, Big Little roared. His voice was thunder. 700 feet above, the sentries heard and raised their war horns to their lips. The sound rang out, echoing off the wall and out across the world. Ahoo! one long blast. For 1,000 years or more, that sound meant rangers coming home. Today, it meant something else. Today, it called the free folk to their new homes. So each time that the wildlings are allowed through the wall, there's a sound like a war horn when the wall opens.
Okay.
And then you've also got the. Do they mean to try and blow our walls down? Jacob went when the war horn sounded once again, right?
The
Winterfell. So anyway, there's some definite foreshadowing of a war horn being associated.
Well, I gave him a big thumbs up on the arson ice axe dragon, the ice dragon. I thought it was freaking genius. I mean, that was pretty good.
Yep. Yeah, and somebody he gave it. Usually a few times I've asked him, and do you think there's a literal ice dragon? And he's kind of, I don't know if there's a literal one, but symbolically, blah blah blah, right? And then somebody asked it again recently, and he was like, "Yep." It's just like, "Yep." Is there like an ice dragon going to be freed from the wall? He's like, "Yep."
And I appreciate that anybody that does theory, which I mean, I don't know what you can call what we do, anything, but anybody that has a theory that's been working or reading and looking for the last 12 years, that read the book 6 times, that have, I don't know how many damn notebooks in this room. I mean, there are people out there that have been doing it 10 times longer, 10 times bigger, 10 times harder. And for an opinion to change, for them to change their opinion on something, gives me hope, because in a lot of the fandom you see, they're going to die on the hill. They're going to die on the hill that Rhaegar and Lyanna equals Jon. There's no way around it. And then you got those that will N plus A equals J. That's the hill I'm going to die on. And I have favorite theories. N plus A equals J is one of my favorite theories. But if I'm proven wrong, excuse me, I'm not going to cry. I mean,
as we boo, Lizzie says.
Boo! I try to keep an open mind. All right, I'm sorry. Yeah, well, I mean, I just try to keep an open mind, and when I see other people,
I'll cry.
Yeah. Okay, I'll cry too.
Anyway.
I like seeing people have an open mind and be able to change their opinion on stuff.
Sure. I happen to.
Yeah, Lady Pistol's changed my opinion on a couple of things during book clubs. Which I'll be back at book club tonight after 2 weeks of missing it, so I'm happy. I
do like to have the attitude that that he's being deliberately ambiguous, right? That or as you say that you're not wrong unless you're proven wrong, and even maybe not then.
Yeah. So the books come out, everybody's right.
Well,
the people that don't like that saying, I promise you that. Hey, I'll do book club too.
Yeah, it's because they don't understand that it's deliberately ambiguous and that George intends there to be multiple correct answers. But he does, right?
I'm not calling them closed mind or anything, but to read and only read it one way. Thistle and I will sharpen. There you go. I got like 12, 13 swords in the garage, so we should be good. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to read it one way. I like being able to read a chapter one time and get something out of it, and the next time I read it, especially if I read it with you, I'm like, ooh, I was wrong the first time. This is a much better explanation of what's going on. This is a better way to interpret the words on the page. So I just really like being inclusive and having an open mind.
Right. He's working on different levels. There are many ways to interpret each scene plot. Yeah, and it's not that the one interpretation is wrong. It's I think he intends you to get these multiple different interpretations, right?
He don't want you to know what's going on.
Well, he wants to. He wanted there to be debate about whether Jon was dead, and he was. So I think he would really like the Order of Green Hand video on that. I think he would really like the Quentin is alive theory. I think people who were like, no, are like, Arya took an axe to the back of the head. Come on. We saw one thing that somebody mentioned. He loves a good mystery and he wants to see multiple answers. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of his stuff he leaves intentionally ambiguous. There was something I was thinking of. I lost it.
Who are you, me?
Yeah. Anyway, there was yeah, there was something else that I'd seen recently that was I think it was maybe it was Quinlan's Life stuff. Can't remember. Um, anyway, I
While you're
forgot it.
thinking, I have an update on my Stark armor. It is in Chicago, so I don't know when it'll be here. When it gets here, I will do a small opening video on the Stark armor, and then if it doesn't fit, I'm going to cry because then I have to make alterations. So, but I have a sewing machine. I know how to sew.
I'm loving my new lens, by the way. I'm just loving being able to see clearly with both eyes.
I'm happy for you. I really am. Like I said, I would do it, but then when I take glasses off, you can see all my face, and that don't work out too well. So,
The I mean, this was cataract surgery. I had LASIK back in my 20s, but I mean, it
yeah,
lasted for more than I'm 50 now, so it lasted for more than 20 years, more than 22 years. But
yeah.
um, I still have some weird. It's almost like sunbeams going whenever I look at a bright light, going like from the top left to the bottom right, like there's a big slash through the lights. But it's gotten really faint and thin, and I can see what's going on around them still.
You're seeing
It's okay.
multiple dimensions.
Woo! Anyway, it's pretty good, and I can pretty much I can read okay with just my right eye, and I can read okay with my left eye, and I can
Yeah.
read pretty easily with both eyes without even. Usually, I don't even need readers. I mean, I guess if there was like really tiny print or not good contrast, I'd probably need readers. But so anyway, it's about as best I could possibly hope for.
There you go. A good turnout. A good turnout is a good turnout.
Oh yeah,
You ready to call it?
sure.
Oh, we're at 45 minutes in right there. Tyrion Monday, same time.
Yeah. Oh, and for my once a month meeting got moved from Wednesdays, so that'll be good going forward.
Okay, good. All right, Tyrion Monday, 12 o'clock. As is always on Friday, we wish everybody to have a very safe and fun weekend. We care about y'all. I want to see y'all here Monday. We appreciate you stopping by. I'm so glad we got 3 videos in this week. I'm so glad I'm feeling a whole lot better. Had some of the people in the book club that were checking in on me, making sure I was all right because they hadn't heard from me.
Lizzie told me my vision was going to be perfect, and she was pretty much right.
All right. Well, Friday, y'all be safe, have fun. Short endings. Here we go. Y'all have a good one. Bye.
You too. Bye.